We're live. Welcome, welcome, welcome to the Remodelers Show. This is day number 3. It is Wednesday, June 10th, 2020. And we've got a special guest, like we have for the first 2 episodes, who will do a proper introduction for us.
This is Rob Bardashovitz with Bailey Construction in Freeland, Michigan. And this is the Remodelers Show, hosted by my business coach and chip shot extraordinaire, Kyle Hunt.
Ooh, chip shot extraordinaire. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you very much, Rob. It has just been so much fun to get clients to have those filled out. If you're feeling inspired after listening to 3 of those, feel free to record one and send it in. Got about 15 of them so far, so we're all stocked up and ready to go. Rob said they're his business coach. He's I've coached a lot of people. He's the only one that refers to me as coach, and it's kind of fun. I enjoy hearing that. So he's always said, "How you doing, coach?" But the chip shot extraordinaire part, Rob is part of a mastermind group that I have called Remodelers Circle. I have 3 groups of non-compete remodelers around Michigan, and then I have 3 other groups that are kind of in different parts of the country. And it was about a year, 15 months ago or so, we were at Corrine with Cabinetry Concepts. We were at her house. We met, the mastermind group met that day at Corrine's house, which happens to be connected and right next to a golf course that her and her husband own. And we were taking a break, and actually I have a club here. We were taking a break, and you guys may or may not know this. I was the captain of the golf team in high school. May have won my senior year the regional individual title. Lest you think that I'm kind of nerdy, like golf captain. I was also the captain of the basketball and baseball teams, which makes me a little tougher sounding. But we were out at this meeting. We were taking a break, and a couple of the guys had walked down. It was probably about 100 yards or so. And I said, well, we should do a little chip shot competition or something. So we grabbed some balls and we grabbed a club. And I think it was Jeff Wright. I said, Jeff, take your hat and hold it out like this. And I was about 100 yards away. Swung a couple times, hadn't hit anything. I hit that ball so perfectly that I think he moved his hat. He went like this almost to avoid it. But it was arguably the greatest golf shot that I've ever hit. So when Rob is introducing the Remodelers Show today and commenting that I am chip shot extraordinary, he is thinking of that moment. We've got some live viewers here. Please get active in the comments if you will. And we are going to kick off today with a quote of the day. A quote of the day. This quote is coming from none other than comedian extraordinaire Jerry Seinfeld. The quote is this: "Don't break the chain. Don't break the chain." This was from a few years ago. I was watching a YouTube clip where somebody was interviewing Jerry Seinfeld. They were interviewing at his house or apartment in New York City. And the interviewer was talking to him about, how do you create your content? How do you write your jokes? How do you come up with your material? And Seinfeld walked him over to kind of his office area, and he pointed at this kind of nondescript, simple calendar. And this calendar was like a monthly calendar. It had X's through each of the days. And he said, here's how I write material. I don't break the chain. I don't break the chain. And the interviewer was kind of like, well, what do you mean? He said, I don't care if it's 5 minutes, if it's 5 hours, if it's 2 hours. I write content every day. I never break the chain. So one thing that I think is super interesting about that is here's one of the most prolific comedians, material comic creators of all time, arguably. What is his key? Consistency. Chopping wood day in and day out. Nothing magical. Don't break the chain. I do it every single day. Somehow I was listening to this at the same time I was out in Connecticut visiting a client, and somehow I connected 100 sit-ups and don't break the chain. And that turned into my don't break the chain. And it became kind of a little competition with myself. I'm going to do 100 sit-ups every day. And that first chain I created was like 60, 70 days long. And then I broke it one day. And then it took me a little bit to get it back going. But this concept, this quote, It does not necessarily have to be related to writing comedy. It does not necessarily have to be related to working out. It could be a lot of different things. Don't break the chain on having some special one-on-one time with your spouse every day. Don't break the chain on reading something out of a book every day. Don't break the chain of not calling or texting a friend or family member once per day, some friend or family member. Don't break the chain on doing 50 push-ups every day. There's a lot of different ways to go about it. There's also some business examples. So that is the quote of the day on the Remodeler Show. Comes from Jerry Seinfeld. Don't break the chain. Comment, if you'd like, on what that might mean to you. Is there a idea that comes to mind when it comes to don't break the chain? We're going to move on to the next segment in today's show.
It's time for today's Marketing Minute.
Okay, today's Marketing Minute. Don't break the chain. One of my favorite quotes. We got some people commenting. Cool. So today's Marketing Minute is something that I call strategic partners. Strategic partners. Let me define what a strategic partner is. A strategic partner is anybody who shares the same ideal client as you do. Anybody who shares the same ideal client as you do. So if I am a remodeler, a strategic partner could be architects, could be designers or interior designers. It could be a high-end landscaper. If a lot of my clients, my ideal clients are, let's say, business people. A lot of our ideal clients seem to be business people. Your CPA or your financial advisor could be a good strategic partner for you. And the thought here is this is what I see as a very successful and powerful part of your marketing plan that is often overlooked or underutilized. The steps involved that I would encourage you to do related to strategic partners is step one, create a list of your strategic partners. Who are people that have referred you in the past? Not necessarily homeowners. We're talking about more kind of some business colleagues, business people, maybe even your trade partners. Create a list. When you start thinking through that, you're going to see that architect go, you know what? I kind of know that architect. I don't know him super well. I should reach out to them more. You know what? That person used to refer us a few years ago. I haven't heard from him in a while. If you create a list, you're going to be hard pressed not to have 8, 10, 12, 14, 16 people on that list. And then from there, build know, like, and trust. Reach out to them. Figure out ways that you can help them. Figure out ways that you can provide value to them. The other phrase that I use a lot of times when it comes to strategic partners is set as part of your marketing plan a goal of doing 1 BLB per month. I'm not going to tell you guys what a BLB is. I'm going to force somebody that's here live, because there's 10 of you at the moment, maybe more, to actually ask me, what is a BLB? And I'll answer it during the Ask Kyle Anything portion. Bailey, if you could let me know, or you all can let me know, I'm going to hit the AC, turn it on in my office here because it's stuffy here in Michigan today. Let me know if you can hear that noise or if that bothers you. If it does, I will turn it back off. But if it doesn't, I will enjoy the cool air. All right. There's your Marketing Minute of today, strategic partners.
Quick comment check.
It's time for a quick comment check. Some of my vendors and subs too. Yes. Let me see who that is. Yeah, Tate. Some of my vendors and subs too. Those are excellent strategic partners. What we end up doing. Oh, somebody already knows what a BLB is. Amy Brown knows what a BLB is. She's not going to ask the question. She's going to share with everybody what it is. She's going to kill the built up, I wonder what it is. And she's just going to tell us. Breakfast, lunch, or beer. Breakfast, lunch, or beer. That's what it is. It's a fun little acronym to remember to invite strategic partners out for a breakfast, lunch, or beer. Which would you prefer? Okay. But yes, Tate, some of your vendors and subs as well. Rhonda commented, don't break the chain. Don't break the chain. Bailey said it's one of her favorite quotes. Excellent. So that's a quick comment check. Think of questions. We'll come back during the AKA portion of the Remodeler Show and answer any questions. Yesterday we had 5 or 6 really good ones, and let's see what we got today. All right, but we're going to keep on cruising on with this.
Let's get some insight from a coaching call.
The man says, let's get some insight from a coaching call. Yesterday I was on a call. What this segment is I do a lot of one-on-one coaching for remodelers. And when I get to the prep of this part of the Remodeler Show, I look at my calendar from the day prior and I say, What is something that took place during one of these calls yesterday that would be of value, a good reminder, some teaching, some coaching for the listeners and viewers of the Remodelers Show? And when I put that through my noggin yesterday, this is what came out. One of my clients was talking about a few weeks ago how he was not feeling very connected with the work and with what was going on with his office manager. They were a little bit passing back and forth without communicating much. The corona obviously plays a big factor. There was some working from home going on, but it was a pretty chronic problem. Even pre-corona, PC, if you will, it was still an issue they were having, where they would still have meetings, but it was haphazard. Sometimes it'd go a couple of weeks. There were texts, yes, there were phone calls, but they weren't really connecting to kind of review how things are going and what's going on. And last week, he started doing this for the first time, and he was telling me about it this time. He said, Kyle, I had a nice 10:30 a.m. Monday one-on-one with my office manager. He said we went through, in their case, they used Trello to kind of keep all of their to-dos organized. They looked at the week ahead. He had a couple topics to bring up, and he said it was a fantastic meeting. We're more on the same page. We have a really good game plan for the rest of the week. And it was really helpful to him. So you need to make sure with your key people that you are doing one-on-one meetings. And I just want to give you a little bit. I'll put this, I'll be curious to see, I'm going to put this in the comments box. We'll see if this, Bailey, if you can let me know. Oh, it looks like it may post to YouTube, but I'm going to post it over here on Facebook as well. I just posted a link to an article I wrote for Remodeling Magazine. It was a year or two ago. And it's just a nice outline of how to conduct a one-on-one meeting with your team. I'll give you the quick 2 seconds on it. The first 5 minutes, have the person answer this. Tell me how you think things are going and why. 1 being bad, 10 being impressed. Really cuts through the clutter and gets you a good pulse on how they're doing. Next 5 minutes, share something that you're proud of / happy about since the last time we met, and any challenges you need my help with. What a good kind of Jekyll and Hyde, right? A little bit of the making them think about something they're proud or happy about and something they're having challenges with. Next 10 minutes, let's talk about whatever you want to discuss related to your overall improvement, advancing your career, department, or any other challenges you have. And then the final 10 minutes, coaching from me, the manager, about something that you brought up during the meeting, something we've been working on, or something new that I think we should work on. This gives some structure. It hits on some positives, some negatives. It pulls it out a little bit of the day in and day out to some bigger picture thoughts. And I've had a lot of clients who have used this format and taken kind of a haphazard, we're sort of kind of getting together, and this allowing them to manage that team that team member much stronger, more effectively. So that is from a coaching call, a little example of something that I hope you could maybe even implement into your own business. Rockin'. Okay. We've got coming up next. It is this part.
AKA, ask Kyle anything. It's time for your questions.
The man says, it's time for your questions. It's time for your comments. I see my friend, John McDougall, who was also on the show yesterday, and he has a couple things here. I'm going to click on it. Boom, there it is. So other than updating each other, what system is good for all to contribute and be responsible for? So I think you're kind of talking about that one-on-one meeting. When you say what system is good for all to contribute and be responsible for, are you talking about what program to kind of keep all of your to-dos, all of what we're working on? If you can answer that for me, John. Oh, John, I said I was going to hop out of my socks if people are implementing what they're hearing and what they're learning on the Remodelers Show. And there's John. I called 8 past clients yesterday. We talked about that yesterday. We talked through a little bit of a script for it. And John reached out to 8 past clients yesterday. Part of it I want to say is, hey, John, what were the results of it? Please do that. But the fact that you did it, even if you left a bunch of voicemails, even if you just connected with a couple of them and just had a good updated conversation, even if it didn't turn into, a project or repeat work or something else, that's not the big deal. The big thing is you're chopping wood, you're putting the work in, and good things are going to happen from that. That is smart marketing. Your previous clients are your most valuable marketing asset. Awesome. let's see here. Describing design build to a client is not easy. What advice do you have for this? Woo! Look at this guy bringing the good questions. Boy, do we want to spend a good chunk of time here talking about this. The man asked the question. I am here to serve my audience. He is showing up live, so we're going to spend a little bit of time on this, and a couple of things I have planned might get kicked tomorrow. Describing the design build to a client is not easy. What advice do you have for this? One thing I would like you to do is go to Remodelers on the Rise, pull it up, my podcast, remodelersontherise.com, and go back 3 or 4 episodes. Bailey, if you're watching, if you could get the title for the clip that we pulled from the Remodel Your Sales Process course that talked about the value that we deliver to our clients by having a design build process. We do not, and in particular, that episode of the podcast talks about how and why we charge for our project design and project development. John, something that you really have to get into is the details of all of the work that's involved in why you do design build, and in your case, if I'm remembering correctly, why you charge for that service. There is a lot of work that needs to go into the design of a project. If a remodeler is telling a client, yeah, I'll put a proposal together, and there's no design and there's no specifics of what we're doing, what that is going to be is a haphazard proposal with a bunch of allowances, which is going to lead to a bunch of change orders, which is going to lead to a budget that keeps escalating, which is going to also lead to a project that doesn't stay on schedule because we're going to be making decisions at the last minute, et cetera, et cetera. The story that you need to be explaining and teaching and coaching your prospects and clients on is that we have figured out the best way and the proper way to go about delivering a kitchen remodel that you're going to be thrilled with. And what we do is a lot of work up front. Before we ever even get close to the demo or swinging a hammer on your job, there is a lot of work and planning for both of us to be doing. There's a lot of selections that we want to finalize before we start the project. There's a fun and exciting and interesting design phase that we're going to walk you through. We're going to get into all of the details on this project so that when the project starts, we're able to give you a wonderful experience that stays on budget, that stays on schedule. So, John, what you really need to do is educate them on why you are a design build remodeler. And I'm thinking a lot of what I'm saying is probably right on par with what you typically do. There's going to be some clients that doesn't appeal to. I just wanted to quote. But when you explain what your process is, good marketing, good sales attracts the right client and it repels the wrong client. When somebody responds after you really lay out, why you do what you do, how your process works, why it's important, why this is the best way to do it, and they're like, I just kind of want to quote, or I'm not, interested in spending $750 on that, they're not an ideal client for you. But for a lot of people that say that makes a lot of sense, let me write you a check for the design and development process, which may or may not roll into the deposit on the job or be a standalone fee. So, John, there's some thoughts for you on that. And then circle back. It's 3 or 4 episodes back with some more details on that. Cool. Any format, just so you know what they have to do. So this was related to, other than updating each other, what system is good for all to contribute and be responsible for. I would say just keep it simple is my biggest thing. It is really nice to have some type of system that you're able to both kind of see the to-do list and see what they're accomplishing. You can use a program like Evernote. You can use a program in the Microsoft suite like Microsoft Teams. There's a lot of different ways to go about that. Hang on, we got some stuff. Jim McKenna, how often do you hold these meetings with that key personnel? I would say every other week. Is that bi-monthly? I'm always confused by that. Is that bi-weekly or bi-monthly? Twice a month is oftentimes a good rhythm. Sometimes it does make sense to do a weekly one, but to do the format that I just talked about, every couple weeks, or for some people that aren't as, day in and day out working hand in glove with you, maybe it's kind of a once a month thing, but do it consistently. Left some messages, got some goodwill, great conversations. Beautiful. That's related to calling previous clients. Bailey said there's a link to that episode. You guys will find that there's 2 streams, by the way. Some of you are viewing this live on Facebook within the Remodelers Community private Facebook group. If you're not part of that, if you go to remodelerscommunity.com, you can request to join that. And then some of you are viewing this on YouTube. So I'm able to see comments from both. Bailey put that link on both of them. Michael Anschel said, design build eliminates the finger pointing game. None of that, right? Bi-weekly. Thank you, Michael. See, it's good to have people that are smarter than you listening to your show so that they can confirm certain things. Thanks, Michael. How's your vision coming, Michael? Jim McKenna, that was killer. I assume what you're talking about there is that little spiel related to the design build. You know, part of what you heard there is you got to practice that. You've got to get good at selling why you do design build. There are so many really good reasons. And when you learn to sell it well, when you learn to sell it effectively, when you're able to really lay out and make the case for why this is the best way to approach a project, there may be some questions, but people will kind of say, that makes a lot of sense. That makes a lot of sense. So you got to practice. There we go. I think that was our first glitch using this little StreamYard, but I think we're back. If somebody can confirm we're back, that'd be wonderful. All right, we're going to keep cruising along. We only got 30 minutes for the show, so let's keep on going.
Let Kyle tell you about a remodeler on the rise.
Tell you about a remodeler on the rise. Is Rob with Bailey Construction in beautiful Freeland, Michigan, is the one that did the introduction for today's Remodelers Show. And I just want to share a couple things related to Rob and Linda, his wife, who I've been working with for a number of years. One of the things is, even with that design build that I just described and just selling in general, something that Rob has been able to do is go from not being overly confident in the sales process, confident in his process, confident in why he does what he does, confident in what he charges and charging more for his services. He's been able to go from struggling with some of those things to understanding why he needs to do those things to being confident in those things. Confidence is a undervalued, underappreciated, huge factor in your success as a business person, as a salesperson. What Rob has really worked hard on is building his confidence. That comes through even what I just described, practicing how you say it, how you present things, working hard to understand his numbers so that he realizes, you know what? Even though I think I can only charge this much, I need to charge this much if I'm going to continue to grow this business, grow my staffing, increase my marketing budget, continue to pull more out of the business each year, you know, for our own personal side of things. So that was a huge thing. That's the biggest thing that I wanted to share about that remodeler on the rise, is the importance of continuing to work hard at understanding all of that and building your confidence. Charging more oftentimes comes down to understanding your numbers well and seeing the clear need for it, and then just saying, doggone it, I'm worth it. Why don't you all, by the way, just go into your estimating spreadsheets or estimating programs, and can you just go in there and just click it up 1% for me? I know the ROI of the Remodelers Show is already off the charts because action is taking place and you ain't paying anything for this. But the ROI is going to be crazy when you actually take me up on going into your estimating program, your spreadsheets, etc. And let me give you that sound effect again. Knocking it up 1%. If you do $1 million annually, knocking it up 1%, we're not going to get into markup and margin, but it's another 10 grand or so that's going to be falling into your bottom line. And I know that that is not going to make or break your ability to sign that client that you're talking to. Always be striving to push that up. And if you're not confident in doing that, know your numbers, know what your goals are as far as growing your own personal revenue, the expenses in the business, realize all of your expenses continue to trickle up, and build that confidence in that. Cool. So there's a remodeler on the rise. I don't have a fancy little intro because I just added this little category here at the 5-minute left mark. but this is called technology. What's a piece of technology that you as a remodeler might find helpful? And the one that I just wanted to focus on today was Loom, L-O-O-M. Loom, L-O-O-M. It is a wonderful way. Let's try something new at the Remodelers on the Remodelers Show, and we're going to share our screen, and we are going to let's see how this is working. Oh, this isn't working very well. I want to do that. I might have to try it a different way. But if you're seeing this, I don't know if you're seeing this or not. When you click on Loom, you are able to start a recording of your screen. You're also able to set up your video, and you click Start Recording. I'm gonna stop this one just in case it's not working very well. Okay, but if you check out Loom, it is a wonderful tool. If you have a design in front of you that maybe is a revision, you could say, click that button. They're seeing your face. They're seeing the screen, and you can say, hey, I worked on those revisions that we talked about at their meeting on Monday, and what I wanted to show you is this. Maybe you have a trade partner, a plumber, that you want to convey some information to. You pull up the prints on your screen, and you're able to say, hey, John, what I wanted to show you when you get into this house, I have a few pictures pulled up here. What I need to make sure you do is move this. Here's the blueprint. We need to do this. There's so much cool uses for this that helps you save time, that allows you to very effectively communicate with folks. It is a great tool. One of your clients sends you an email with 4 or 5 questions. Have that email open, click Loom, they're looking at you, and just answer those questions. You click a button, you have a link that you can use. It's super, super quick, super easy. It's also a wonderful tool for creating content. Document your process. If you're a designer and you have a cool 3D design pulled up, say, hey, this is Kyle with Kyle's Remodeling. What I wanted to show you is a really cool design that we're working on in this kitchen. And I wanted to point out 2 things. One is how we're opening up this wall. You could create that, you click stop, you download that video. What a wonderful Facebook post. Cool content, right? So there's a lot of different ways that you can use Loom, L-O-O-M. It saves you time. It's very effective. It's pretty clever, and it's super simple. So there's your little technology idea of the day.
AKA, ask Kyle anything. It's time for your questions.
It is. Let's see if we just have another couple quick ones here. 1% to the profit line or 1% to the overhead line? Michael, go ahead and put that on the profit line. Michael does his. If you also would like to know a very unique, solid, interesting, transparent way of going about the sales process, you keep clicking through that Remodelers on the Rise podcast, and you're going to hear Michael Anschel and I have a really interesting podcast conversation about the way that he approaches a transparent way of walking the homeowner through the design and build process. It's pretty cool. Loom is a great resource. Cool. John says, how is this different than Zoom? Zoom is a live video conference, right? You're talking to people, you're seeing people, you're sharing your screen. Loom is just kind of a standalone. I'm going to record a video and I'm going to send you a link. So that's kind of the distinction between the two. I use Loom to record a screen share for my remote bookkeeper. Works great. Awesome. Thank you, Tate. All right, rock and roll. Excellent. So this is the Remodeler Show. I love your feedback on the format, on the technology, on how it is working, how it's going. And this is the 2-minute warning that I have where I like to just say, what did you learn today? What did you learn today? Please put that in the comments. What is a takeaway, something that you might work to implement, something you're going to be thinking about later today, sharing with somebody? Give me some feedback on what you learned today. And just like I've done the first 2 days, I'll do it the 3rd day. The swag of the day comes courtesy. We can't really see it very well. It's too shiny. Nelson Builders. Beautiful Yeti. This is like the real deal stuff. Josh Nelson, Laurel, thank you for this beautiful Yeti mug that will be filled with coffee momentarily. If you'd like to send me swag, go to my website, remodelyourmarketing.com. Go down the bottom. You'll find my address. And I'll feature you on an upcoming episode of the Remodelers Show. Excellent. Let's see a couple takeaways. Love Nelson Builders. Oh, yes. Rhonda, you know Laurel. Cool. That's the time we have for today, folks. Did I come up with a tagline yet? I have not. but I will just reiterate, marketing is about getting someone who has a need to know, like, and trust you. Continue to work hard to build know, like, and trust with prospects, with people out there. Work on not just hearing ideas, but implementing them. There's your tagline for today. Work on ways to not just hear new ideas, but implement them. See you tomorrow at 12 o'clock p.m. Eastern Standard Time for another wonderful episode of the Remodelers Show.